Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to The Discriminating Gamer. You know, the other day I went to the doctor and I told him that I needed to see him because I thought I was shrinking. He told me he was busy and I'd have to come back later. I guess I'll just have to be a little patient. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to go ahead and take a look at my top 10 games designed by David Thompson. We'll get back to the review in just a moment. I want to take a minute to ask you to check out my other channel, that is Cody Carlson, PhD, where we talk about history, books on history, military history. I even post some of my lectures for my classes on there. Please check that out. Please subscribe to that channel. And now, back to the review. All right, ladies and gentlemen, today we're taking a look at my top 10 David Thompson games. Now, David Thompson is one of my favorite designers. Last September, he actually came out here to Wyoming to speak to some students. Great guy. We had several great conversations. Wonderful. I'm just tremendously nice guy. And what a wonderful talent when it comes to designing games. So I've looked at some of the games here. A lot of these he designed with co-designers. But I'm taking a look at the 10 of which are my favorite of his that I played. And again, as always, I rank these in order of how much fun I have playing them. Now, before I jump right into the list, I do have some honorable mentions. First of all, Soldiers and Postmen's Uniforms. This is a great game about the defense of Gdansk, of Danzig, of the postmen there when the Germans attacked. Wonderful story, great game, solitaire game. You're trying to keep the Germans out, you're trying to keep people inside safe. Also, too, Europe Divided. Europe Divided was a great game of kind of geopolitics from the end of the Cold War until about just a few years ago. Kind of the West, NATO, and the EU kind of pitted against Putin and just kind of the political back and forth there. Very reminiscent of a Twilight Struggle. I really liked how you use dice to kind of indicate strength and stuff. Very good game. I liked it quite a bit. And then finally, Resist. Resist is a great solitaire game about the Spanish Civil War. Kind of a deck builder, but not really. But you got these cards, and you can either play them as kind of hidden, or they kind of reveal themselves as resistance members, and very fun game. You're going on missions, and you're trying to destroy complication cards come out. Very fun. Really liked it. But now we're going to discuss my top 10 games. Number 10 is actually a game that is based on Resist. It's kind of the spiritual sequel to Resist, but a very different theme, and this is Witchcraft. Now, Witchcraft, at the time I am recording this, it's not up on GameFound yet. It may be on GameFound. It probably will have already been on GameFound by the time I put this up. But Witchcraft is a great game. It's essentially the same thing. You've got witches, and they can remain hidden, or they can expose themselves, in which case they'll become more powerful. They can reveal themselves as witches, in which case they become more powerful, but then you lose the card, right? So you got to be very careful here about when and how to play the cards. But again, you're going on missions. But what's cool here, and what I like about it that is better than Resist, is you also have these jurors, and they have this kind of persuasion track. And depending on whether or not you win missions, you're persuading jurors that you're actually trying to help. You're good witches, you're not bad witches. And if you can persuade the jurors, they have numbers above them that indicate what number you have to reach to. If you don't know what those numbers are initially, you might be able to reveal some of those numbers to get an idea of what you got to get your score at. But it's a very good game, very well done, really liked it. That is Witchcraft. That is number 10. That's from Salt and Pepper Games. My number 9 is a game I played a long time ago, before I even really knew who David Thompson was. This is War Chest. War Chest is a great bag building game that plays a lot like chess, but instead of using cards, you're using these tokens, these chips, and the chips are beautiful. They're heavy. It's just a beautiful production. But you go ahead and you kind of draw those, and you can play those, and then you can maneuver them about the board, and it's just very well done. I played one of the expansions. I think they've got the third one coming out. So anyway, really good game, really fun. Generally speaking, I'm not a huge fan of abstract games. This is probably my favorite abstract game. Maybe that's another list I should do. But I really like War Chest quite a bit. So that is number 9, War Chest. That is from AEG. My number 8 is another one of the Valiant Defense series games, like Soldiers and Postmen's Uniforms. This is Lazarus Ridge. And Lazarus Ridge is cool because you got a handful of American troops holding up like an entire division. I think I want to say it's like 500. I can't remember how many, but you got relatively few Allied soldiers, American soldiers, holding up an entire German division for the better part of a day during D-Day, or during a Battle of the Bulge. And it's very, very fun and very interesting. And of course, you've got the system, Valiant Defense system. They're creeping toward you, and you got to shoot them and keep them back. But things change during the course of the day. Events come out, and it's really a lot of fun. So that is Lazarus Ridge. That is number 8. That is from DVG. My number 7 is also a Valiant Defense game. This is Castleitter. This was the first Valiant Defense game I played, and this is the story is at the end of the war. You have American soldiers, French resistance, an Austrian soldier. You have German Wehrmacht units all working together to fight SS units right at the very end of the war who were attacking this castle. It's a great story, and he did just a great job of actually showing how this played out here. But it's a lot of fun. I actually did a live stream of this a while back. That is number 7. That is Castleitter, and that is from DVG. My number 6 is Undaunted North Africa. Now, Undaunted North Africa, the Undaunted system, there's a spoiler alert, it won't be the last one, but Undaunted is just this great deck-building system and tactical war game all rolled into one. Here you're in North Africa. It's the British versus the Italians, 1940, and you are essentially trying to usually capture victory point areas or fulfill specific objectives, but you're doing it through this card system. Very, very well done. Really enjoy quite a bit. And I'll talk more about the system coming up here. But that is number 6. That is Undaunted North Africa. My number 5 is, again, another one of the Valiant Defense games. This is Pavlovs House. Now, Pavlovs House, this was the first game, but it was, I think, the second one that I played. But in Pavlovs House, essentially, you're the Soviet soldiers trying to defend this house, this apartment block from the advancing Germans. And of course, you got tracks leading to it. You're trying to take them out. But then you've also got this kind of tactical map where you're actually moving guys to different locations, different windows. So they've got different fields of fire. You pan out, you've got this like operational map where you can actually, you're trying to get goods across the river to help these people defend the house. You got anti-aircraft guns. You're trying to keep it going. And one of the things, Dave Thompson, he actually came here and he spoke about this game, and he said, the story was you just had these guys in this house holding out. But what he tries to illustrate with this game is it wasn't just those guys. You had a whole support network trying to keep them in the fight. And that's what he's really trying to show here in this game. He does it brilliantly, and it is a super fun solitaire game. So that is Pavlov's House. That is number 5. That is from DVG. My number 4 is a game that I just played recently, just reviewed recently. And this is Undaunted Battle of Britain. This is probably the easiest, simplest system of the Undaunted games, and yet it still packs a huge punch. You're in these fighter planes, Luftwaffe versus RAF 1940. You're trying to reach certain objectives. Sometimes you're trying to knock out more of the other side's planes. Sometimes you're trying to take out ships or whatever. There's all sorts of fun and interesting things that happen in this game of aerial warfare. And what's cool is you can do 2 things on your turn. You can move. You have to move, but then you can take an action. But a lot of times your action is to maneuver, which means to turn. You're facing on the hex. Or you can attack, but you can't do both. You can't turn and then attack. So you can't line up the shot and then attack just as easily as you would like. And that really leads to some tough decisions. You've got this idea of comms, where if your airplanes get too far apart and you take certain actions, you have to take a discord, which is like a fog of war card. It just gums up your deck. Really fun game, super fun, a lot of adventure, a lot of sense of just narrow misses and devastating attacks. Really like Battle of Britain. That is number 4. That is from Osprey Games. My number 3 is a game that is actually, it's based on a video game. I had not played the video game. Then I played this game, and then I played the video game, and I realized just what an amazing job Dave and his team did on translating it. This is Sniper Elite. So one of my favorite games of all time is Fury of Dracula, and Sniper Elite really reminds me of that. It's that hidden movement game. You're the sniper. You're trying to infiltrate these kind of you're an allied sniper. In the original game, I think you're an American. Subsequent, in the expansion, you can be a Russian, Chinese, etc., and British, and you're trying to infiltrate these Nazi compounds and whatnot. And you're going through, and it's hidden movement, and it's so much fun because, of course, the people that are looking for you, they're pulling their hair out because it's so frustrating. And if you're the hidden guy, you're just sweating beads because they're nearly going to get you, I'm not sure. I don't think I have won as the sniper yet. I'm not sure. I have to check on that. Maybe I did. but it's intense. I love this game. I love Sniper Elite. And like I said, I went and I played the video game, and it just blew me away. It just how very different, obviously, in the way they play, but just the flavor of it, and just the same tenseness that you get from the video game, you get from the board game. Brilliant game. That is Sniper Elite. That is my number 3, and that is from Rebellion Unplugged. My number 2 is, you guessed it, another Undaunted game. This is Undaunted Normandy, but asterisk, this is Undaunted Normandy with the Reinforcements Pack. Now, the Reinforcements Pack provides more scenarios, it provides tanks and system for tanks, and it provides, critically, a 4-player version of the game. And I love this as a 2-player game, but that 4-player version is freaking awesome because you divide up the squads, and it's just, I really like the 4-player version of the game quite a bit. But Undaunted Normandy, just generally, this is the one that started it all. Brilliant card play, deck building, brilliant, tactical maneuvering. I just love this game. I think it is just absolutely fantastic, and I cannot recommend it highly enough. But that is Undaunted Normandy, again, with the Reinforcements Pack in particular. That is my number 2. That is from Osprey Games. My number 1, David Thompson game. You probably have figured it out this far. This is really unusual for me to rank a game like this so high because it is a campaign game. And usually campaign games are not my favorite. But it's a 2-player campaign game, so it's easier to get it to the table. But this is Undaunted Stalingrad. Undaunted Stalingrad, everything I love about the Undaunted games in this really cool story that takes you to different places and allows you to do different things. I love Undaunted Stalingrad so much. I think it is absolutely brilliant. And the changes and the surprises and that story. I've said this before 100 times on the channel. I know a lot of my friends, when they play a game, they like the abstraction. They like the numbers. It's a numbers game. How do I get more points? How do I do this? And that's how they enjoy a game. For me, how do I enjoy a game? I enjoy a game because I like the stories they tell. And so the more thematic a game is, the more fun I have. This is one of the most thematic games that tells one of the greatest stories I've ever played. Now, I'm only about a third of the way through it. I'm actually here in the next few days hoping Kim and I are going to play a few more games. I'm going to go visit her and we're going to play a few more games. But it is just so much fun. I love the mechanics. I love the stories. I love everything about Undaunted Stalingrad. It's a remarkable game. One of my absolute favorites. So that is Undaunted Stalingrad. That is my favorite David Thompson game, and that is from Osprey Games. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's my favorite David Thompson games, and he's got more coming out I'm looking forward to. That Zheng He, about the Chinese admiral in the 15th century, I think comes out next year from GMT. Really looking forward to that one. And he's always got some stuff coming up his sleeve. He actually told me a few games he's working on I cannot discuss, but I'm really looking forward to them. So he's got a lot of really cool stuff coming out. What do you think? What are your favorite designs from David Thompson and his partners? Let me know what you think. I'm always eager to hear what your favorites are as well. Feel free to disagree with me. Just keep it civil. But I'd love to hear what they are. And always, we'd ask you to leave a comment here on YouTube, on Board Game Geek, on our Facebook page. I'd ask you to please like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Twitter. I'd also ask you to check out my other channel, Cody Carlson, PhD, where we talk about military history, books on history. I even upload some of my World War II lectures onto that channel. So please check that out. I would really appreciate that quite a bit. And subscribe to it. Oh, thank you. Also, too, leave a thumb to this video. I'll probably post it in the forums on Board Game Geek. Please leave a thumb and leave a comment there. Love to hear from you there. And also, if you are a fan of the channel, if you like the kind of content we produce here, I would ask you to please consider clicking on the Super Thanks button and leaving a contribution. That would really mean a lot to us as well. Ladies and gentlemen, one little bit of food for thought here. You do realize that when you drink alcohol, both you and the alcohol are getting drunk.
Somebody help me on my feet again, and I don't know where I'm going, and I don't know where I've been. Please somebody help me on the solid ground. It's a long time, and I'll be dying. Once a year I wind up in the band. God knows that I love to fight, but I don't ever win. It's a fine line to damnation, but God let me in.
You're making a lot of assumptions. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, don't listen to him.
Cost one blue.
So does that?
Yeah, that's gaming.
Oh my gosh.